Hi guys, I'm Shmee and hello to you from the south of France, where I have just arrived today from a flight over from Munich, where I was at the Huawei Mate 9 launch. You might have seen that, but my travel plans have been utterly ludicrous getting here. I had the McLaren with me in Germany for something I was shooting earlier in the week. Then I took a hire car to Munich, while the McLaren came to Marseille on a truck. Then this morning I took a 6:30 a.m. flight from Munich here to Marseille, where the car was meeting me to drive over to the Circuit Paul Ricard, where I've been shooting something truly awesome that I'm going to be able to share with you in the near future. But for now, it's all a little bit of a secret. But today I wanted to kind of do a little bit of an update, a semi kind of Q&A, and talk about the one thing in particular that you already know from the video title, which is, why do my number plates say something that can easily be construed as a rather rude phrase? So we'll get to that in a moment. The car obviously making its return to the south of France since we were last in Marseille about 2 months ago in September at the end of Fuel Faction Enna. Obviously it was in a slightly sorry state at the time, so it's nice to be back here with it all fine, up and running perfectly, looking gorgeous, now with around 8,000 kilometers on the clock, which is probably a little bit bonkers, but this thing's no garage queen. I'm taking it out, using it, and when you see some of the stuff I've been filming recently, when I can share those videos, it's really cool. I love this car. But onto the question. That's what I'm here today to talk about primarily, the number plates. This system seems to confuse just about everyone. The UK number plates are clearly rather tricky because there are all sorts of variables and what you can and what you can't have. Sorry, losing my voice there. So for example, normal number plates like this, you have 2 letters that identify basically where the car's registered. Normally this would be Scotland, but this is a private plate. Then the year, then 3 random letters. So you can have private plates that meet that same sort of format, or you can have other formats. But when I came up with the idea of doing these plates that say SHMEE, Shmee, 15 for 150, I was sort of hooked and decided to just get them all and have a nice set of them across my cars. So originally, as you know, this plate was on my GT4, and I also bought SH10 MEE for the Ferrari. 10 because it's an older car, so I needed an older reg, but also the combination of 15 and 10 made my 150, so it fit quite naturally. Then, when I knew I was going to have a few more cars, I moved the 15 plate off the GT4 and put SH14 MEE on it, the 4 for the GT4, and kept the 15 for this. Then the Focus RS arrived, so I got the 13 plate. I also had the 16 plate, but I put the 13 on the Focus RS, so maybe with hindsight I should have put 16 on it. And next, the Aston Martin Vantage GT8. That's going to have SH12 MEE. It's car number 120 out of 150, so kind of had to do that. Then the AMG GTR, I guess we'll get the 16 plate in due course. And then the Ford GT, I announced the other day, is going to have the 66. SH66 MEE, because the GT40 came 1, 2, 3 at Le Mans in 1966. So those are all my number plates, bar 87TB, of course, which is a more personalised number plate, which is on the Mini. But I want to explain this sort of system in a little bit more detail and how it works and what they cost, because you have all sorts of different countries. For example, in the US, you can basically have 7 characters of anything you want, and they can be duplicated state to state, and they can be short, and you pay a flat fee, and it's super easy. Various other countries have different rules. France, you can't do anything. Germany, you'd have your identifier for where your car is registered, then a custom 2 letters, and then a custom 4 numbers, so you can't do very much. Belgium have just introduced doing custom plates. I think the Netherlands, you can't do anything. You might know my business manager's number plates, which is I am too cool on his BMW M2 from the Czech Republic. So yes, lots and lots of different rules and different things and different stuff you can put on them, depending what you want. And then just for fun, on my cars, you know, I have this custom little bit of a quote to pay tribute to Bruce McLaren there on the McLaren, with different ones on the different cars. Now, I realise up to this point, I haven't actually explained the answer to the question in the very first place, which is why do I not have, or will I not have, SH17 MEE? Think about what SH17 looks like, and think about whether the DVLA, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency in the United Kingdom, is going to release that plate to go on a number plate, and the short answer is no. It's the same reason why there's actually no SH11, for exactly the same thing, as lots of people have a tendency to put little black dots to make their number plates look illegally like other things. I'm not a fan of that at all, but I probably would have driven around with SH17 on a car if I could have had it, but unfortunately that is a complete and total no-go. The day is getting on quite substantially, but I have been filming some awesome stuff that I can't wait to share. But I want to go back to the thing I never actually properly concluded explaining, which is how the UK number plate system actually works, because we have some really weird peculiarities and options that make up our plate, and the pricing system and what makes a plate valuable and what not is really quite strange. Firstly, in this sort of new style system where you have 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That represents the year, but it actually represents the 1st of March until the end of August. And then if you have a 6 here, it means the second half of the year. So 1st of September to the end of February. So 65, for example, would come in September 15. If you had 75, that will come in September 2025. So every 10 years, you get the next digit in the first place. It's confusing. I'm not making any sense at all. So as well as that, you've also got the old style system. So like my S17 TJB plate that I used to have on my Abarth and my Mini Countryman, and I don't even know what else I've had it on, but it was actually on my first car, my Renault Clio. So S17 TJB, you could have that backwards. You could have TJB 17S, because that's the really old style number plate. Or you can have what we call dateless plates, which are ones like my 87 TB. Those are kind of complete, private, personalised number plates that have existed since private number plates actually got introduced, although back in the old days you could ask for them. Now you have to pay a lot of money for them. So I think a lot of people wonder what makes an English number plate expensive, and basically it's how perfect it looks, how short it is. So if you had 1A, it would be worth a fortune. 87 TB, that's, if I had to guess, about £10,000 worth. Current value. Plate like this, a couple of £100, nice and easy, standard distribution number plate. If you have a plate that reads a perfect word, let's say you had W4TER, water, because the 4 would look like an A, that would be worth a lot. Other plates like that, I'm sure you can make them up, but you have to follow those formats I mentioned. So like a letter followed by up to 3 numbers followed by up to 3 letters, or this format, or the 3 letters followed by 3 numbers followed by a letter, or the dateless ones. And I've lost you already, so I'm very sorry about that. Don't even try to understand it if you don't already. So yeah, I rather like my SME number plates because, like I said, they're not too expensive, which makes it quite nice to have on a collection. And when they're all sat side by side, they look awesome. Even though technically my 87 TB is my proper nice, I guess much more expensive number plate, can't always necessarily run it. But the light is going, the event here has come to an end. I'm going to jump on the road and do a couple more Q&As while I make my way towards Monaco, where I'm heading for the weekend. Time to depart then, and it's rather taken me by surprise quite how quickly it has got dark. Obviously we had the clocks changing about a week ago, but I feel like I haven't been outside at this time of day because it's, 5:30, and it's gone in about 15 minutes from being able to see stuff to being, well, basically pitch black. And where I am right now at Paul Ricard is basically, well, it's about an hour to the east of Marseille, and I've got about 2.5 hours from here to Monaco. I'm just cruising on the motorway. It's quite a nice motorway. Oh, I haven't put the lift up, so we'll take this speed bump very easily. It's kind of nice that you can actually get over speed bumps without putting the lift up sometimes. But yeah, about 2.5 hours of a nice flowing motorway with lots of tunnels. Basically just good for a cruise from here to Monaco, where I'm basically just going to have some time off for the weekend, which I know is that whole what's time off thing again, because everything I do seems like time off. Well, a day like today has actually been ridiculously intense, from waking up at 4:30, travelling, flying, and then immediately off the plane, picking up the car, driving to here, which took maybe an hour and a quarter. I actually had to give the car a hose down too, because it was really dusty from where it had been before. And then spending the whole day filming, running around, working around a schedule that I didn't have too much control over. But it's been fun. I'm not complaining. never going to complain about it. Just work hard, play harder. I think that's the simple answer. So, let me find my way out and continue towards the motorway. By a stroke of good fortune, I find myself driving on the D2, which is one of my favourite roads, and I didn't really expect to come this way. But when I came here before with my GT4, I had one of the drives of my life. And tonight I've got the roof up, but the window down, so I can get all the cracks going on behind me. In fact, just because there's no one else around right now. This car is so ridiculously cool that I really don't know how to describe it. It just throws you into the back of the seat, and then you get that monumentous whip sort of crack going off behind you, which is something out of this world. It's one of the best bits about this final ascent, the drive up towards the, I don't know what to call it, the sort of ridge where you then go over and into Monaco, are the endless tunnels that basically give you the best tunnel run you could ever imagine. How might you take the first gear? 70 enough. And it's basically just that on repeat. Now let's pull out and go up through a few gears. It's a bit busy. This thing. I actually think this is a new tunnel. I don't think this was here when I drove up. I was last there. But you get the point, it's a little bit ridiculous. And now I'm going to take my exit. Go down into Monaco. I'm in Monaco, but I have to be honest, this has turned more into a kind of vlog to complete the video than it was a Q&A, so maybe I'll have to come back to do that at another time. We are, however, parked here, surrounded by some other very, very cool cars. An Aventador SV Roadster, a Ferrari Speciale Aperta, and up there, a Ferrari F12 TDF Tour de France, which actually, if I come close, has a really cool stripe on it. Silver and black. Yeah, not bad. I basically feel that's a welcome to Monaco, and the normal cars are like a Porsche and a Maserati and a Bentley and another Bentley. Basically, this is the Monaco life. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for there. I am absolutely exhausted, as you can probably tell. I have been up today already for, 20 hours, and it's not just been a very easy 20 hours. I had the flight, filming all day, driving. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll catch up with you again soon. Cheers.